Hey, I'm Tommy, and this is the Prolycht Orion 300 FS, Prolycht's improved version of the Orion 300, which I've reviewed on my channel in the past already. It is an RGB ACL single point source style light. And you can use something like this to get some really nice shadows out of a full color fixture. It's probably the most color accurate fixture that you'll find available in this price range. It's about $2,150. They've claimed that the color is even more accurate, especially when dimming, and I can appreciate that. So I'm not really sure what I was doing here, but while Tommy plays with the Prolycht Orion 300 FS in the background, let's do some comparisons here against the old Prolycht 300. I call this my empirical output test, where we just kind of look at what the different lights are doing. I've got the Prolycht Orion 300 FS, the new one on the left, and the old one on the right. They're both at 100% intensity, and they're at 5600 Kelvin, and they both look like they're putting out about the same amount of light. That said, one of my biggest gripes has been fixed. With the old one, at lower intensities, it would veer towards amber and tungsten colors. So starting at 0 and then going up, you can see that it starts off really yellow and then goes to the color that I selected, which is 5600 Kelvin. But with the new one, it just starts off with the right color coming out of the light, which is exactly what you would want. And with that, my biggest problem is solved. Let's go back to what we were before. There. It's on right now. It's shooting red light out, and it's just you can barely tell that it's on. You have so much control with the dimming on this light. Now, my favorite thing that they did is they updated the travel case that it comes with. The previous version, I complained a little bit that you had to unscrew the this little dealio right here. You had to take it off in the last one before you could put the fixture away because it wouldn't fit in a case. So they redesigned the entire carrying case. So now it fits with the handle attached. So they made it a little bit less long, but a little bit taller. I mean, it's small, but it means a lot to me. So I know that they're continually improving it still. In fact, just today I got an email about a firmware update that they had made available. I haven't installed it yet. So Prolycht has a really fantastic interface for controlling the hue, saturation, intensity. But lately I've been using the Exolux Control 1, which already has a configuration profile in its fixtures mode for the Prolycht Orion 300. And when you assign that to this, it just looks like this. So you can control what color you've got coming out of it. Let's put the saturation up in a crossfade, make it brighter, and now change the colors. That's all it looks like. And there's also little knobby dealies here. That's how I've been controlling the Prolycht Orion. It works really, really well together with the little wireless receiver that's also powered by the USB port on the Prolycht Orion. All right, so who is this light for though? Well, it's really for anyone that needs a full color fixture in a COB form factor. And really your only options for a full color COB LED light that is RGB ACL is either the Prolycht Orion or Ares Orbiter, which after you buy everything that you need to use it is like $10,000. This one is $2,150, and if you want the projection attachment, a little bit more. It's a 300 watt fixture, but how would that compare to something like Aputure's 300X? Well, let's run a test. So the Aputure 300X at 100% output and max output mode at 5600 Kelvin is getting 440 lux, and it is pointed just up against my wall. So let's swap that out for the Orion and see how that does. Now the Prolycht Orion is facing up against the wall in the same position that the Aputure 300X was. I'm getting 555 lux. So the Prolycht Orion 300 FS is brighter than the 300X, which is actually pretty crazy, but when you think about it, there's not a daylight white chip in there. RGB ACL, red, green, blue, amber, cyan, lime. So it's using that amber chip, but also it's using the other chips to generate that 5600 Kelvin. And you can kind of observe that by just looking at the spectrum from when we measured it. It wasn't really 5600 Kelvin, but my paint on the wall over there is a little bit like tan. It warms it up a bit. So that's to be expected. And because it's able to use 5 chips to generate this color, even if the 300X had a 3200 Kelvin and a 5600 Kelvin chip, and it was 100% of the 5600 Kelvin chip, the Prolycht Orion is using 5 chips to generate this color, so it has more than 50% of the LED surface that it can activate with all of its power to get more of that 300 watts out there. So you can only use all of the 300X's power when you've got it at like 4,500 Kelvin, because you've got the amber and the white light both on at 100%. And if you look really carefully, you can actually see different colors on the mixing mechanism that makes that 5,600 Kelvin. So maybe it's closer to 78 or 79% of the total LED surface. It could be activated right now or around there. So you can get more lumens out of it, which is actually really interesting. But you also have to pay that premium. The 300X from Aperture is a more affordable light. But when you consider the technology available from the Orion 300FS, it's definitely worth the money if you need it. Prolycht also has a wonderful mobile app. And if you want to see just the incredible things that you can do with it, you should check out a video over on Philip Bloom's channel, where he also reviewed the Prolycht Orion in a much more thorough and beautiful way than I did today. So there you go. A company sent out one of my favorite fixtures and then took my feedback and then made it an even better fixture. So great work, Prolycht, on the Orion 300FS. Thank you for sending the fixture out for me to review. And if you want to see my original review on the first unit, which is very similar to this one, then you can click a link to that in the description of this video. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.